I used to think that the washing machine could handle the pet hair. It does not. It absolutely does not. Hi, I'm Heather Ann, and this is Heather Ann in Progress. Today I'm going to talk to you about how to deal with pet hair before you put it in the washing machine. This is your real MVP move. Before you put that pet hair encrusted blanket or slacks or shirt, because you've been cuddling your fur baby, into that washing machine, throw it in the dryer first. So put it in the dryer, no heat or low heat. Throw in a damp microfiber towel with it if you really want to beef up this habit, and then run it for 5 to 10 minutes before you ever put it in the washing machine. It is fiction that the washing machine gets the hair out of your clothes. In some cases, if you use fabric softener especially, all it does is stick the hair, or a good portion of the hair, even tighter into your clothing, and then also clogs up your washing machine. If you've got an especially hairy piece of fabric, throw it in the dryer first with that damp microfiber towel, and that's going to get the bulk of the hair out before you put it in your washing machine. And before you even do that, go take it in the backyard and shake it out. Or I'd say if you live in an apartment, maybe don't shake it over your balcony. If you have downstairs neighbors and they're barbecuing, that might be a little rude, but shake it out over the balcony. When you're not going to shake cat hair or dog hair on your neighbor, shake, put it in the dryer, then put it in the washing machine. Now, if you have something that's very hairy, but that you don't really want to put in the dryer first, or you've done the shaking and it's not been enough. For example, if you have something that's really hairy that's also really dirty, you may not want to put that in your dryer first. So the next thing you can do is take any good old-fashioned cheap dollar store pair of kitchen rubber gloves and rub across the fabric to roll up the hair. Rubber is your friend. The pet hair will stick to the rubber gloves, and you can wipe it off of there and clean it up before you put it in the washing machine. You can buy these fancy silicone dog brushes or hair brushes that do the same thing, but honestly, your cheap old pair of rubber gloves that you would use at your sink anyway works just as well. And those are also great for getting hair off of your upholstery, something that you're not going to wad up and throw in the machines. If you own pets, you probably own one of these, and these are great for getting hair off of your clothes, particularly like your dress clothes or your work clothes. You're about to go out the door and you've been snuggling with your pet right before you leave. These are great for this, but they're really only good for smaller amounts, because if you tried to do a large piece of fabric with this, you would use up the whole thing. If you don't have one of these, but you do have some of this, the other thing you can do is you can kind of make your own by wrapping it sticky side around your, come here, sticky side around your hand, and kind of like just loop it back on itself and then roll that on your clothes. But again, the hair makes these not tacky pretty quickly, so you're only going to want to use this for smaller pieces of clothing. Back to your microfiber again. A damp microfiber cloth, just like it will help gather the hair if you throw it with something in the dryer, it will also help get hair off of fabrics like your upholstery, blankets, or bigger things. And again, similar to the rubber gloves, you're just going to get it damp and wipe it across. I find that is, if you have something particularly hairy, that or the rubber gloves first. Well, shake first, microfiber cloths or rubber gloves second, and then put it in the dryer. But again, if you've got something that's too dirty to really put in the dryer because you don't want to put something dirty in your dryer, doing either the microfiber cloth or you can do both, the rubber gloves before you put it in the washing machine goes a long way to getting all that excess hair out before you put it in your washing machine. Now, once you've de-haired as much as possible, it's time to throw it in that washing machine. Couple tips. One, put in a half a cup of white vinegar. If you have apple cider vinegar, you can use that too, but that's kind of a waste of apple cider vinegar. Every home should have a big old gallon of cheap old white vinegar. You really shouldn't be using it for cooking. You should be using it for cleaning. It will help loosen up any remaining hair in the clothes so that it doesn't stick to the clothes in the wash. But then 2, don't use fabric softener. There's an argument by a lot of people that you shouldn't use fabric softener at all, but a lot of people enjoy using it. But fabric softener will trap the hair in the fabric. So if you are trying to wash something that is particularly hairy, don't use that fabric softener. If you really want to use fabric softener, wash it with vinegar, run it through the dryer, and then put it back on a quick load with fabric softener. Now, bonus tip for things that aren't going in the washing machine. This little doodad, I don't know exactly what it's called, I will link it in the description, is absolutely fantastic for getting hair out of your cat trees or any sort of carpeted or plushy pet beds. You want to be careful using it on your furniture upholstery, because if it's woven fabric, it can kind of like grab and make little snags in the fabric. But anything more solid like denim, velour, velvet, just the carpet on your cat trees, your pet beds, this thing works like a charm to pull up cat hair. Your stairs, the carpet on your stairs that are really difficult to vacuum, use this little guy and you will get all of the hair out. Now, I don't really use this on things that are going in the washing machine. I use those other techniques, but bonus tip, definitely this little guy is worth owning if you're trying to keep the cat hair to a minimum, or I always keep saying cat hair because that's what we mostly have to deal with. But to be fair, our dog sheds too. She sheds little tiny short black hairs that are really difficult to get out of things because they're short and prolific. If you live with furry animals, their hair does not need to go with you to work. This is at least one small win that we can tackle. I really love my pets. I would never dream of not having cats, but some days it's a struggle when I'm trying to keep the cat hair out of my manicure, or I want to wear a black cardigan. If this helped, let me know in the comments, what is your biggest pet hair struggle? Blankets, your work clothes, let me know. If you like real life systems, midlife experiments, and the occasional cat cameo, be sure to subscribe so that we can be in progress together. Thanks, have a great day. And remember, small consistent actions add up to big changes.